the tariffs are a result of what we've already known for a couple of weeks now. There's still material differences between the U.S. and the China side. The incentives are for both sides to escalate until something proves to them that there are clear incentives to cooperate. I think the read-through from the Mexico situation is that the U.S. is demonstrating, at least in China's eyes, that it might be a less reliable partner than one would have even thought before this re-escalation started. That just ups the disincentives to agree further. And so we think investors are supposed to assume escalation is going to continue to happen until there's clearly more economic or market damage.
So move to the sidelines is what you would tell people?
I mean, what we've been telling people for most of this year and have kind of continued to pound the table on is government bonds are going to outperform. They have been outperforming. We're negative on risk assets generally. I think we're kind of in the middle of the range in the U.S. equity market and that there's plenty more downside.
Rufus, what's your take?
Yeah, I would agree with all of that. I mean, I think obviously it's very unlikely that countries are going to be willing to sign up to deals with the Trump administration if the administration turns around a few months later and completely reneges on the deals by raising tariffs because of immigration or national security or some other reason. So it's a huge disincentive. I mean, here's Mexico. We've had a free trade agreement with Mexico for 25 years. And we're just turning that off. You know, if he followed through with these tariffs, we've got zero tariffs on our trade with Mexico today. It's the biggest export market for the U.S. So the implications for our exporters is big, and the implications on the import side are big, and for the Mexican economy. So, yeah, this is pretty negative all around.
Does this increase the likelihood that, or decrease the likelihood, I should say, that USMCA, the new NAFTA bill, makes it through not only in the United States, but in Mexico and Canada?
Yeah, significantly shortens the odds on, as I said, why would either, certainly the Obrador government or even the Trudeau government say, yeah, we can trust this guy, let's sign a new deal with him.
Michael, one second. Michael, what would it take to convince you to move back into the markets if you're on the sidelines now?
Yeah, the obvious upside surprise is if at the G20, Trump and Xi get in the same room and come out and say, we agreed to kind of reset the clock. We're not going to do that next tranche of tariffs on $300 billion worth of goods.
Then you tell people buy back in?
Well, it obviously depends on the level we're at that point. But I would say this. I mean, in a lot of ways, we compare this to, if you think about in game theory terms, a prisoner's dilemma, any sign of communication is a positive start. So if we're starting from a place where markets are down substantially and there's communication, that's a pretty good start. But right now, it's pretty clear neither sides are talking. Neither side has moved on the three big issues that they've said are what's the gulf between them.
Mm-hmm. Steve?
I was really going to ask the question you asked, which is now that it looks like conventional wisdom is on the worst possible outcomes, which, by the way, is a huge change.
Right. Because
we had the market pricing in this U.S.-China trade deal. I'm wondering if...
the market, I would guess it's still kind of there, kind of making some assumption that there's going to be a deal. It's just less likely.
It's very hard. The problem I have is I don't see the rhetoric of Fed officials yet. Of course, they really haven't reacted to what happened Friday. We'll have a bunch of Fed interviews this week, so we'll be able to talk about some of that with them. I'm not sure the rhetoric of Fed officials meets the pricing of the market.
In terms of,
I don't think Jay Powell's ready to cut three times. I mean, I don't think two cuts are baked in. I'm not even sure a reversal of course in the wake of the skepticism that's out there about is this going to happen or not is really warranted yet.